Welcome back, everyone. Joining me now, Paul Stefano, General Manager of Ben Franklin Plumbing. So we're talking about, and we've been talking about with Lindsay this morning, the temperatures can't make up their mind. So one day you're 75, 80 degrees, your house heats up. Then the next day, like today, you're talking below freezing. And that really takes a strain on the body, but it takes a strain on your unit. So talk about that.
Yeah, well, there's one primary piece of equipment that needs to be maintained in the house, whether you want to call it an air handler or a furnace.
Right.
Now, just like you said, it's getting warm, it's getting cold. January, it's kind of strange. But anyways, when people are using their heating or air conditioning equipment, you have one piece of equipment that is forcing the air out into the house.
Right.
It's being used all the time. So what we're saying is, hey, if you should have maintenance done on both the air conditioning and the heating, but making sure that that thing is maintained twice a year is very important, because if that thing goes out, there's no air or heat.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we talk about this, because I mean, just since Wednesday, in my apartment, I've that switch between heat and air, I've switched it back and forth probably 5-6 times, because you go to bed and it's hot, and then you wake up and it's freezing again. What is the toll that takes? I mean, is this something where you should get it checked out? How often should you get that maintenance done?
You should have it done twice a year.
Okay.
Once for air conditioning and once for heat. There's different components for air conditioning, and there's different components for the heat.
Okay.
But like I said, you have that one main piece of equipment, whether it's a furnace or an air handler, that's being used all the time. That blower is being used no matter if it's a heat or air. So if that, if any of the parts of that go out or fail, then of course you're going to have a problem. And that's why I want to make sure that we catch that before you don't have air conditioning, or you don't have, especially right now, heat.
Heat, yeah. And let me ask you this about, trying to save money, because like you said, you are switching it back and forth, and you're running the air, then you're running the heat. I mean, are there tips to, obviously keep that maintained, but are there tips to save money, keep your home safe? I mean, is it a hazard?
There are a couple of things in there, especially when you're using the heat, that could be a hazard.
Okay.
We have what they call a heat exchanger in a gas furnace, and if that thing breaches or cracks, or if there's a hole in it or anything like that, usually happens, in maybe past 5 years, maybe past, 6 or 7 maybe.
Okay.
That'll emit carbon monoxide into the house. We definitely don't want that to happen. So making sure that your carbon monoxide detector is working, and making sure that that is intact, is very important, at least one time a year.
And even saying, so that does put stress, when you're switching it back and forth that frequently, does that put stress on the system?
There's a lot of components that are always used for either air conditioning or heat, so we want to make sure all those things are working properly. Keeping the dirt off the stuff is important. That's for the maximum efficiency, and making sure that you're not overpaying on your electric bill. Keeping the dirt off will prevent that from being stressed.
Okay. I don't want to get you out of here without talking about a little bit about plumbing as well. I mean, we're below freezing right now, and I guess always face good reminders that maintenance needs to be done there, because it could cost you a lot of money if you don't take care of it.
Some people are going to get caught off guard because they might have been out washing their car when it was 70 or 75, left their hose on the hose bib out there, and as soon as it goes below freezing, if water's left in that hose, what it does, the water will expand, work its way back up into the hose bib, and break that. And hopefully it'll be broken outside, not inside, but nonetheless you're going to have a plumbing problem. So you want to make sure that the hoses are taken away from the hose bibs. You're going to want to make sure that if we get down below freezing, especially in the lower 20s, that you keep the cabinet doors open on where your faucets are, and maybe keep a small stream of water going overnight.
And all of that stuff, again, you said maintenance, it's something that can be done easily, and it can prevent
a catastrophe.
Right.
And we see it all the time. We do. But, we have plumbing maintenance also. We go over all these things, Ben Franklin Plumbing does. When we get out to your house, we'll go through a huge checklist, making sure that you know what to do all the different seasons of the year.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for joining me again. The weather is confused, so you have to be proactive, because we're hot, we're cold, we're hot, we're cold, we're hot, we're cold. So we got to do that maintenance. We'll have all of those tips up online, this segment up online at WBTV.com after this show.